Hello, this is Monday Nights Get Nuked. I am Thirsty, and this is my lovely crew of players. Look at how lovely and shiny they are. And today we have the wonderful, inimitable, rather blurry Kerone. Entirely because I forgot to tell him we weren't running Bluecoats, and he came online and went, "What do you need me to do?" So he's over there.
Hi.
The joy of overlays. So yeah. Right. Tonight we will be playing Rotten Under Ooze Town. Return to normal programming. Which is all good. No, Roasty, I won't be dancing for you. Maybe you want Kerone to dance for you? Dance for your friend, Kerone. Dance for your friend. This is the power I wield. I feel like Greg Davis on Taskmaster now. This is excellent. Right, so... there we are. Oh, apparently I correctly interpreted Roasty's wishes. So yeah. We were playing Rotten Under Ooze Town. Apparently Roasty will be butting in with suggestions. And Kerone will be here to appear at some point as a character we predetermined from an earlier date. So yeah. It's been a while since we've done this, hasn't it? Right, so we have some rules for you guys out there in chat, Roasty. Don't be a tool about someone's race. Don't be a tool about someone's religion. Don't be a race about... Just don't be a tool. Just don't do it.
Or a screwdriver.
Yeah. You know, there are rules and there are rules. Just don't. I've ordered up a badge with "Don't be a dick" written on it, so that will also apply. So yeah. So let's dive into the actual meat and veg of the thing, because who just wants the meat of the thing? Veg is important. We have our bold, bloodied, beaten, frozen, poisoned trio standing in the ruins of Ooze Town. But it's been a while, hasn't it? So who are these people? Who shall they be playing tonight? Eivor.
I'm Eivor. I'll be playing Zeke, the brave and valorous wanderer, who has never abandoned a teammate under any circumstances.
I'm sorry, that sounds like a load of bollocks.
It's because it is.
Excellent.
Hooray.
It's good to know that my ear for subterfuge hasn't quite been worn out yet. So yeah, the valorous Zeke with his valorous rifle, Tilly, boldly protecting his friends and pet, and not at all allowing it to be poisoned and his friends shot. The first in a catalogue of amazing human beings that we should be meeting. So yeah, and moving swiftly on, as is, entirely usual. Lilth.
I'm Lilth, and I'm going to be playing the not quite human Anita, who is a wonder.
Okay.
She tries to heal people. She may not always manage it, and she may occasionally administer the wrong medication to the wrong people at the right time.
Yeah, like when she killed those people. Those two innocent people who'd done very little wrong.
This one was an experiment to find out what the patchwork did. The second one was to confirm said experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also cold-blooded murder. You went, this will probably kill a motherfucker. Let's slap it on. And the second time you went, last time it killed a motherfucker. Let's poison a policeman in public.
It was self-defense.
I would argue that the first time you used it on a member of wardrobe personnel who was trying to non-violently usher you towards a stage.
Holding me by the throat.
No, that wasn't the first guy. It was just walking you through a corridor, going, "Come on, we need you on stage." He wasn't being violent at all. The second person was brutally assaulting someone. But still, cruel.
It was self-defense.
Okay. Alright.
It was.
You know, implicated in arson, 1 murder, 1 self-defense. You fired a gun.
I did.
Yeah, you were quite good at it, actually.
Yeah, I am.
Who would have thought it? Yeah. You now own a gun as well, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
So yes. And last but not least, because you're not last, and obviously not least either, is Spanners.
Hello, I am Spanners. I'm playing Timi, who may or may not have poisoned Jerry last time. I didn't mean to. I genuinely didn't mean to. I just forgot it had vicious hot sauce that made my mouth bleed on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That said,
You fed him sauce so hot that it did you permanent and persisting damage.
yes.
You then fed it to a small furry animal.
But he's quite tough in his defence.
He is quite tough.
My
Yes.
defence.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thoroughly approve of all the maiming and massacring that's been going on. And I will be playing with shiny new dice.
Yay.
Very satisfying noise.
What is that noise? Can we hear that noise? I still think that my dice are more satisfying.
Oh, only
But-
through one.
Yeah, but at least I rolled badly, so don't worry about it. So yes, we have, these are our core group of valiant scum who will boldly murder and burn, and then burn again, and continue to murder through hosts of indentured sex workers and local law enforcement. Have you actually killed anyone who wasn't a prostitute or a law enforcement officer, apart from that one guy who worked in wardrobe? I don't think you have. Huh. Excellent.
Morals.
I think just circumstances. You just haven't talked to enough people who weren't. Okay, so yeah, and before we continue, we have our bonus guest, young Master Kerone. Who will you be playing?
I will be playing Lamb.
Lamb,
The Salty.
the Salty, who, those of you who are absolutely addicted to my voice may remember, comes from a previous game that we played called Salt and Thirst, who was Salt Captain Morgan's assistant, who didn't assist much and generally sort of blundered around and nearly got killed. But hey, you know, you never know, he might be more efficient now. He's had some time. Okay. I've just read a note, and now I'm confused. But okay, yeah. So we shall pull on into the game, because now we've introduced everyone, and that only took like 20 minutes. So
Yay!
we have our heroes. Currently, Lamb is not with us. He is probably at the enclave, you know, because they don't really let people out that often. But yeah, we have our core group of Zeke, Timi, and Anita standing in the light of the early morning, watching a bold 80-strong group of Bluecoats marching down from the fort into the town to pacify the chaos of the previous night. Because let's face it, local militia don't enforce the law in the night time. They just stomp down in the morning and kick the shit out of everyone. You know. There's also been a sort of a hit to personnel levels at the moment, so they're probably going on a recruiting drive. You know, one of those ones that results in, you know, drunks from the previous night waking up in uniform. But yeah. Anyway, you've just watched a column of 80 Bluecoats march down. You didn't know there were that many Bluecoats in the world. Just in general. That's a fact. So there you are, standing next to a field that has 3.5 sets of goalposts standing forlornly. Which is the other side, and on the other side you can see the Salties enclave, just enticingly in the distance. Maybe 1,500 meters away. You could run it. Take a little while. Enough time for you to be noticed. Or you can try something clever. And off to your right, up the hill, is the cliff with the fort on it. And you can see, even from here, that there are men standing on the walls. And there are positions with what you presume to be large weapons of some description. There's even a radio mast.
Were Zeke to remove his jacket, which he proceeds to do, and the new hat that he has since acquired from the wardrobe. How difficult of a social stealth maneuver would it be to just wander across the field?
Well, I'm not sure how much of a social stealth issue it would be, being this is the marshalling grounds of the Bluecoats, and you're not wearing a blue coat. Nor do you look like a farmer, and your description has been being circulated for the last 2 days as a man wanted in connection with an arson and multiple murders.
However, no one knows what Zeke looks like without the hat so far. This is the first time.
You recall there were some charcoal sketches of Timi, and there was one of you that was really bad. But it doesn't take an awful lot for a town like this to just report the stranger. It's kind of ruled by the mob. Anyone looking to gain any favour will just report anyone.
Okay.
Also, you're walking along with a cocking great big rifle.
I have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
So, for Zeke, he's going to stride bold as brass, hoping not to be noticed, but in that way that if he's noticed, he has an idea at least, rattling around in that questionably sized brain.
There's no question of Zeke's brain. Zeke's brain is very small. Zeke's brain is small. It's sort of a bijou brainette. The fashionable sort of cerebellum de terre that you buy in the city if you don't want to think much. Let's put it this way. There's room for an extension. But yes, Timi and Anita, you watch Zeke doff his jacket and hat and stroll out onto an open field.
Could we assume, as he wanders across the field, that he has abandoned me?
No. Being that he tends to be surreptitious about these things. And he's just strolling. I would say that the first thought is probably just that your incredibly dense associate has just thought it's a great idea to walk across the field. Being you did agree to do that only some minutes ago, before having another look around.
Okay.
Is there any form of hedge line or fence line in this field?
Once upon a time there were railings around this field. Nothing particularly significant, but anything of any real value has been removed. I mean, the only reason the 3.5 goalposts are there is because it's not worth the hassle of trying to dig them out the concrete that holds them into the ground. The nets are gone, but, really the only things there are things set in concrete, so there's the occasional post. There's nothing joining them.
How close is the cliff?
Is the what?
How close is the cliff?
The cliff?
Yeah.
If it's 1,500 metres to the Salties, it's sort of easily 4,000 or 5,000 metres over to the bottom of the hill, sort of thing. I mean, this is only sort of rough generalities, so maybe sort of 3,000 to 4,000 metres from where you are, which is at the top of a hill that leads down to this field.
How far away are these 80 bluecoats that have just gone across from us?
A good 1,000 metres at least.
Interesting. We still have that bluecoat, don't we?
Yeah. They've walked along the road the other side of the field. I realise now that this field sounds friggin' enormous, but hey, I never said I was great at maths or geography.
How tall is Anita?
Anita is 5'4".
Okay.
I'm curious to know where this is going.
This might not work, but fuck it. So Timi's going to put the coat on, and suggest to Anita that because the guards are so far away, they're not going to be able to read Kurt's name.
Didn't Zeke have the coat?
It is currently in Zeke's bag.
Is it in Zeke's bag?
Oh.
Shit.
We discussed this the other day.
Yeah. How far away is Zeke now? I mean, obviously we're now babbling, but will he hear us if we...
If you shout, yeah. I mean, he's sort of 20, 30 metres away. He's been walking steadily. All of this musing, unless you specifically tell me it's happening out of character, is happening in character.
Happening. Okay.
So you're standing there babbling to each other about this coat and how tall are you and what's going on, how tall are the... You are asking each other these things and receiving this information. So yeah, Zeke's like, 30, 40 metres away. Striding purposefully, I assume. With a proud and happy look on his face.
Is there anything on the ground, sort of rock-shaped?
Well, yeah, there's, you're currently standing at the edge of a field. Behind you is lots of, half-ruined houses.
Brilliant. So, Timi is going to, pick up, not a rock, but, a clod of dirt. So if it hits Zeke, then it's not going to actually damage him, hopefully. So rather than shouting, she's going to lob this at him. His attention.
It's probably for the best, really, because Timi isn't famously good at regulating the volume of her voice.
So, I don't know, what, strength?
Well, no, you're throwing something, so I would argue that that's always going to be a dexterity-based thing.
Okay.
You're not throwing something... You're not attempting to achieve a feat of strength.
No.
You're throwing a fist-sized ball of mud.
Yeah. I am just trying to get his attention without having to
And it is mud. It rained quite profusely last night, if you recall.
Excellent. So I'm lobbing mud at him.
Yes.
Marvellous. That is a non-natural 11.
Okay. Yeah, you chuck a clod of mud. It lands near him. A clod of mud isn't a natural weapon in any way, shape, or form. And your form with throwing clods of amorphous blobs is not great. It makes the distance, but it doesn't hit him. It flies past him and lands in front of him. Zeke, as you're walking in a proud and happy manner, you hear your co-conspirators, your partners in crime, discussing something that you're not entirely concerned about. And then a fist-sized ball of mud flies past your hip to the left and smacks into the ground and rolls a bit. What conclusion are you drawing from this? I mean, you're only 40 metres away. They could raise their voices and direct your attention if they wanted to. They could hurry to you in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, I don't think his first instinct would be to go, one of my friends has just tried to gather my attention by throwing mud in my direction.
So what is Zeke's first instinct? Zeke, a wanderer, with instincts sharpened by years of travel, alone mainly, in dangerous conditions. What does Zeke do when something, maybe a kilogram in weight hits the ground next to him? What is his snap reaction?
The snap reaction from years on the road, it is to unholster Tilly and aim it back in the direction from whence.
Are you going to hit the dirt, or are you going to continue to stand there in a proud and happy manner?
It wouldn't be hit the dirt, but it would be down to one knee, as occasionally large wildlife can dislodge clumps of dirt as such.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. So give me God. Alright. Give me your big guns.
Big guns.
Yeah.
Okay. Ten.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. You spin on the spot. You drop to one knee. Your knee slides a bit because it's muddy, and you let go of Tilly with one hand and put a hand down to steady yourself. You have Tilly half out of her bag, across your chest, clutching her awkwardly with one hand. It's pointing in the right direction. You could probably shoot through the end of the bag if you need to. And you see your friends standing there, Timi notably with a hand covered in mud.
As soon as he turns around, and he's just going to start gesturing to come back.
Zeke will head back over and go, alright, if you wanted to get a fella's attention, there's these things called come out, and you can call a guy, but
yeah, lots of Bluecoats just walked past, could have heard.
Yeah. Notably also, Zeke, you've taken off your waterproof coat and then rolled in mud, so your right hand up to the elbow, sort of that there, and both of your knees to the top of your boots are now caked in mud.
This sounds near enough like standard procedure.
Yeah, it's not something that would upset you. I'm just mentioning it. If you then walk into somewhere and say, for example, want to give someone a friendly handshake, you might want to be aware of the fact that you're, being insulted. But hey, there we are. So yes.
So we've had an idea how to get across the field. If one of us wears the blue coat, no one's going to see a thing. And then they could act as if they are taking the other two towards the Salty enclave, or at least towards somewhere else, almost as if they were prisoners. But Zeke, you've got the gun, so would that make sense if you were to do that?
Well, so that's some sort of a plan, but do you want to go in there? And he gestures to... He shoulders his bag, and you see the still rather angry Scuzzle form moving about inside it.
Do we have anything we can give him? I need to do everything that might cool his mouth.
Wet grass?
If you want to reach in there, I have no issue with it, but I'm not inclined to do so myself. Not right now.
Jerry crawls out the bag and gets on the bag. He scurries behind like a pile of rubble for a few moments on a personal errand, and fortunately he does so sort of downwind of you, and when he comes back, he's clearly rolled in a puddle. He's still not looking happy. Angry Jerry's face is still like swollen, right, to the point where you can see like his teeth are like being enveloped by his swollen gums. Right. He does not look happy or even particularly healthy at this point.
Poor Jerry.
In this time, Zeke will remove Kurt's jacket from the bag.
Okay. Kurt's jacket is waterlogged. It has been sitting in this bag while you've been shot, while you've run around in the rain.
I'm assuming it's going to be like a wax canvas bag, considering I keep my food in there and.
Oh yeah, but like it's not like you've had a lot of time to like observe good like baggage discipline. You have been shot at and running,
True.
like
But
in
it's
heavy
something-
rain, and then you slept on soggy newspaper. Like it's not like if it was anything other than denim, it would have dried off. But it's soaking denim. Like it's just collected all the water that's drifted, settled at the bottom of the waxed bag. Like everything else seems to be doing all right. It's just this horrible, sort of stinking denim jacket. To be fair, it rained last night. It's not going to stand out. It's just unpleasant. In that manner of when you put a denim jacket on when it rained the previous day. And it's cold.
Zeke is going to begrudgingly hand Tilly and his bag to either Timi or Anita, and with a great deal of grumbling, pull the damp denim jacket on.
Yeah. As stated previously, it feels awful. It's also way too big for you. I mean, I think we previously established that Zeke is not a large gentleman. He's quite slight and not of astounding height, whereas Kurt was huge in every dimension. So you definitely look like a kid who's like wearing his visiting uncle's jacket. Or like in one of those horrible American films, when like the visiting like cool jock boyfriend takes off his Letterman jacket and gives it to his girlfriend's like little brother to wear. I mean, technically it fits on you without swamping you, but it's not convincing close up as yours.
Is it convincing at 5,000 meters?
Yeah. To the guys who are protecting the fort from people running at the fort, yeah, they're just going to see someone walking past in a blue jacket. They don't give a shit. If they've got like a telescope, they might start noticing things. If there are, say, anyone else looking. We're aware that a bunch of Bluecoats have been killed, and 3 suspicious characters have been killing them.
I think to
But
remedy
this wouldn't occur to you, because you're Zeke. You've put on a jacket. It's cold, and it's horrible, and it's a bit too big. Jerry climbs in beside you, pad you out a bit.
I was going to say, I think he'd sort of let the belt of his trousers off, hold them up with one hand, and wrap it like just below chest, like trunk area to pull the fabric in.
Okay.
I'm sure in his travels down with Dad, he has on more than one occasion been handed clothes that are much too big big for it.
Yeah.
So
Most
that the way to keep them on and looking not horrendous would be to
to wear lots of belts and cinch them and like get them altered when you can.
yeah.
Rope belts. Although you've mentioned now that you've taken the belt off your trousers and you have to hold them up. So how are you holding your trousers up now that you're apparently essentially wearing a large denim dressing gown that you've cinched around the Empire line with your belt? I believe that is the term, the Empire line.
I think for now it would be with one hand, but he'd also have a think to what may reasonably be in his bag to hold these trousers up.
Okay.
Whether it's just like some scraps of cloth that are long enough to function as a belt temporarily, but may not be comfortable in the long term.
Well, did any of you end up with handcuffs? I seem to recall that you guys tend to gravitate towards them.
I don't believe so, but I'll pat the pockets of this policeman's jacket, considering he was met at a brothel to see whether or not he was carrying anything for business or pleasure.
Yeah. Well, you know for a fact that it was his night off, so I don't think he was even carrying his Bluecoat stick. So.
However, Anita has just remembered, or Lilth has just recognised, that she also has an enforcer's coat and an enforcer's stick.
Ooh. So you have two enforcers.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So that one out.
The beginning of shenanigans occurs. So excellent. We have two enforcers and a Timi. Timi, whose description has been well circulated, and the enforcers have a charcoal sketch of her that they were showing around the previous day.
So yeah, Anita puts the coat on and then suggests to Timi that she stands in between the two of them, Anita and Zeke, and they escort her across the field.
Excellent.
Making it look like they're heading towards the fort, and then they'll just go for a quick change of direction as they get towards the Salties.
Fair enough, yeah. So, is that what we're doing?
Firstly, Zeke would question whether or not Anita had any bandages in her bag that may function as a makeshift belt.
I'm pretty sure she would. She's got a first aid kit, yeah. So she would pull out a bandage and hand it to you.
I was going to ask, did you steal the enforcer's belt with the loop for the club on it?
She just took the stick because hers was broken.
Oh yeah, it wasn't Sarge's. Yeah, cool. Okay, so yeah, you fashion yourself a belt from bandages, or at least you tie like two belt loops together to make it like smaller. In that fashion that cool kids used to do in the 90s with handcuffs. Attach the front two belt loops of your jeans together with handcuffs so your jeans wouldn't fall down. Oh, ludicrous skater jeans. It was a look. But yeah. So yeah, you set off across this field. Are you just walking across the field, bold as brass now? You've got disguises? Or are you skirting around the outside? Are you going to make your way down to the road and then walk along?
Down to the road and walk along, I think.
Yeah.
maybe sandwich Timi between the two of us.
Yeah.
Tilly still drawn.
Yeah. Okay, so you're making your way down. Are you making your way down to the road across the field, or are you walking through the residential district down to the road?
Across the field, because we've seen the Bluecoats go past.
Okay, cool. This will be an agree. You agree, so we do it, because you've
Yeah.
currently been standing at the top of this hill for like half an hour, in view of guards and passers-by. So yeah, you suit up and walk across the field. To be fair, you get the impression you're being watched from the fort. You see the glint of lenses in the sunlight, sort of thing. You get the impression that not many people come out onto the marshalling fields, and whenever someone does, the guys at the fort, get them in their sights, just for something to do. You see something that looks a bit like an emplaced gun being turned towards you. At this range, it would almost never hit you, but they turn it nonetheless. It seems to be on one of those big like crank mounts. But it doesn't seem to be the original weapon for it. They've just put something they've made on a big old gun mount. And God knows what. They may have you zeroed with mortars, but they're not firing them, so you don't know. But yeah, as you walk across, you get you get like a hot, itchy feeling between your shoulder blades. You're absolutely sure there's someone with a finger on a trigger looking at you. But the shot you're waiting for never seems to ring out. And strolling across the field, it doesn't seem much really going on. It's a bit slippy, but that's about it. You walk past someone's livestock that's wandered off onto this little piece of greenery. It's a 6-legged sheep. It's mildly unusual, but let's face it, it belongs to someone else. You don't want to spend too much time looking at it. And you get to the road without much incident. People wandered by, a few merchants, occasional Bluecoats that wanders back and forth. But nothing's been mentioned. Right, lamb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the salt captain, your old shipmate Morgan, put you at the gates to watch for some known friends of the Salties. They've been sent off on a mission to bring back Big Bill for interrogation regarding some disappearances. And among them is a friend of the Salties. She originally came from the land, but let's not hold that against her. Called Timi. Now you're sitting there using your little eyeglass that you've been given. And let's face it, it's not a great one. But you're absolutely sure that someone following the description you've been given for Timi is being marched down the road by a pair of enforcers. Now, long ago, you were given leave to go to the land. And you served the Salties well. You are a certified mud diver. You have your oil skins. You're always wearing them, pretty much. As a mark of honour, you are allowed to leave the enclave. So, there you are. You have seen a good friend being marched up to the fort, presumably to be executed or interrogated. What do you do?
Gonna charge towards them with my club.
Okay. Now you get old. God damn. You get old Jameson to open up the gates. Just a crack, And yeah, you pelt on out.
Mm-hmm.
Do you roar a battle cry? Do you draw any attention to it, or are you going to close the distance before letting them know you're there? I mean, one of them is carrying a very big, meaty rifle.
I'll do it quite stealthily then.
Excellent. Give me a stealth.
Pelting down the road.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, there are merchants out the front. There is goods that they're bringing to show off to the Salties, in the hope of getting securing good trade.
I'm gonna use the legendary point.
Already, that's always a good sign.
That's better. A total of 11.
Total of 11.
Yeah.
God. Okay. Yeah. You burst out of the slightly opened gate. It's a bit of a tight squeeze. It doesn't happen as quickly as you'd like. Your oilskins rip a bit as you sort of struggle through. A bunch of merchants come over to see if they can help you. If there's anything they can do. They're always trying to gain favour. And they get in your way, and you have to elbow through them. Well, I never. What, you bastard! What do you think you're doing? Bloody Salties. That one quickly changes his tack. Like, bloody are you? Oh well, it was terribly rude. You don't shout bloody Salties within hearing of the enclave. But yeah, you knock over a guy carrying like a big pile of like boxes. A man carrying what's clearly like a barrel of beer gets sort of upended and falls into a crate of produce. But yeah, you get to the other side. No one seems to have noticed from the road. You're drawing in, but there's definitely a procession of people behind you, like fucking asshole. I spent months growing those melons.
Considering Zeke is a man of the road and used to keeping an eye out for things that maybe maybe trying to sneak up on him.
Yes.
Could I argue a perception to see?
Yeah, you could even argue a perception sneak. If you're actually keeping an eye out for things sneaking up on you.
I think he would always sort of be like have that road mindset on, even in the urban jungle.
Yeah.
So that is 6 plus 7, 13.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just going straight out and out, you beat his roll. So, yeah, you see someone bundling out of the gates of the Salties enclave, looking frankly quite pissed off. Barreling through a bunch of traders, like smashing his way. But he's not coming straight towards you, but he seems to studiously be going around. He seems to be curving around to come in from the side. You see him like upending a barrel a bloke with a barrel, and this guy falls into someone's crate of prized marrows and melons and God knows what else. Some farmer gets months of labour wasted.
Hey Tim, is this one of your friends? And he will point out who he means by gesturing with Tilly towards the individual.
So, is he close enough for Timi to recognise?
He's close enough, but it remains to be seen as to whether Timmy's ever met Lamb.
Right.
I mean, you were on a little research ship, and he's a mud diver.
If she knows Morgan quite well, would she know Lamb? Because they were really close.
Well, the thing is that Morgan's climbed the ranks, and she's in charge of the entire enclave.
No, she wouldn't.
Lamb is a respected veteran, but has climbed the ranks approximately none at all. He's...
Could a knowledge roll be argued?
A knowledge roll could be argued, but you don't know him well.
Don't argue that.
Have you not got good knowledge?
No.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep. Go shiny dice.
Oh, shiny dice. 13.
13. Yeah, you recognise this guy as a mud diver. This guy is definitely a salty. He's definitely kitted up for coming on land, and he's like wearing the horrible, oily, salty, crusted wraps of someone sanctified for venturing onto land. He is an older man. In fact, quite surprisingly old for someone still doing mud diving. That generally is left to young, expendable people.
Okay, in which case, she would probably look at Zeke and go, well, he's not one of my salties, but he's definitely a salty. Maybe he can help us, or not. Maybe we can help him. He can certainly get a message to Morgan, though, and get us back in.
Excellent. Right. So
Go
yeah.
on then, you'd be best dealing with these type of mad bastards.
Right, at this point, Lamb, you are probably 10, 15 metres away. You are absolutely sure you haven't been spotted.
Right.
You are doing a really good job. Like, they've both looked in your direction, but you're pretty sure you're doing a good job. Like, neither of them have, gone, it's that guy! Or, quick, dive! Or, open fire! You're pretty sure you're doing well.
Excellent.
Look at Lamb. Sort of make proper direct eye contact and go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The prisoner makes direct eye contact with you and salutes in what I can only assume is now apparently the salute of the salties.
Naval salute. Can't do that. Shows you dirty hands.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. I think we managed to avoid classifying what the official salute of the salties was so far. But, okay.
There, but it's got more of a.
Yeah.
There.
Okay. I tend to go for the Rebel Alliance salute of.
Okay. I'm gonna charge at the one of the guards, the one with the gun,
Excellent.
and leap through the air with my big club. Try and whack his head.
Okay. Yeah. You're diving for the guy carrying a rifle.
Yeah, because I thought that would be the best one to begin with.
I mean, yeah. It appears to be like a fairly scraggly older man wearing a rather oversized coat. But the rifle does look quite deadly. The rifle at least looks like it's ready for business.
Yeah.
So yeah, you God, Jesus. Argue something. You're going to climb up something. I want this to give you some kind of mechanical advantage, but argue me something, because we don't have any bullcrap like an athletic skill.
Okay.
So you're going to climb up on top of some assorted wares, Assassin's Creed style. You're going to crouch on top of the boxes with your heavy stick.
Physical endurance.
Yeah. You're going to pound on up. You're just going to keep going. That's cool. Yeah. Pure determination, no finesse. I love it. Excellent. Go on. Give me the roll.
10.
10. Yeah, it takes you a little longer than you wish. By the time you get onto the boxes, they've passed. Rather than you being in front of them and being able to jump on as they pass.
Mm-hmm.
But you reckon if you really, really cane it, if you take a few steps back on the top of this row of boxes, and really cane it and dive,
Yep.
you might just be able to lay a nice meaty blow on the back of this rifleman.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna give it a bash?
Same again?
No, this will be an RMCC. It will just be a
The
spectacular.
RMCC. Oh, okay.
You're genuinely attempting to whack someone with a heavy stick after diving off something high.
Okay. Fudge. Crit.
Fuck yes. Excellent.
I wish I could show you the camera to it, but I can't.
That's fine. Yeah, you take a half dozen steps back. You put your head down. You pound it forwards. You dive like full length, like proper like big cat pounce off of this box. You raise your club two-handed over your head, and you bring it down on Zeke. Which is your dominant hand?
Right, I suppose.
You bring it down on the rifleman's right shoulder, in the hopes of paralysing his right hand. Give me some damage with your crit.
D6 plus 8. 11.
You've killed him.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yeah.
That takes Zeke to minus 5. No, -3 to armor because it's on the shoulder.
Yep. Yes. Excellent. Well remembered. Yeah. You dive through the air. You smash down onto Zeke's right shoulder. Something goes crunch. Something else goes crack. A third thing goes kadunk. And Zeke falls nerveless to the ground.
How did I hit Zeke? I thought I was hitting a guard.
Yes. Yes, you did think you were hitting a guard. Yes, you were hitting Zeke in a guard uniform. Way to pay attention.
Well, I was.
That's fine. That was completely in character and wonderful.
Exactly.
Excellent.
I think at that point, Timi would, having saluted at him in front of the guards, will turn round.
Timi and Anita both give me a reflex. Zeke has just been brutally cudgeled down from behind. I need to know who turns around first and reacts.
12.
I'm natural 12.
Yeah, same.
Oh, shit. Okay, what did you get on the dice?
8.
I got an 8.
Christ. Oh, this is no fun. Right, you both turn around at the same time. Anita, what were you going to do?
Anita is going to pull out Master, a nice shiny new gun,
Oh, God.
and point it at Salty. She's not going to shoot it yet, she's just going to pull it out
Okay.
and point it.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
You can idiot.
Timi, you have time to speak. Because apparently Anita isn't going guns blazing.
Fair enough.
As far as she's aware,
Timi-
someone's just killed Zeke, but apparently that's not enough to shoot someone.
She doesn't like killing people. She may have done some killing.
In an
She's not
unusual
doing
turn
that.
for Timi, she is going to turn round to Lau and go, "You absolute cockwomble. Did you think I'd salute at you if they were actually taking me somewhere? You're a salty, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, so I've got Roger's ear. Look, Roger's ear. I've kept it safe for you.
Yeah.
And we've got something we need to take to Morgan. And we need to revive
Right.
this arsehole.
I didn't know. I thought it was a guard.
Maybe ask. Right, Right then, we need
It
to
sort
get
of
these.
gets rid of the idea of stealth if you ask first.
Well, you weren't much stealthy going over the melon cart, were you?
Oh, you noticed that?
Yeah, everyone knows that.
Oh, okay.
Anita,
So-
what are you making of this?
Anita's kind of looking between the two.
They've just suddenly burst out in like salty speak as well,
Yeah.
which is
So
hard to
she
follow
is-
at the best of times.
She assumes that Timi knows this weird person who's just turned up in some weird clothing. Is going to put a gun away and try and look at Zeke to see what the hell she can do to help him.
Okay.
She's going to let Timi deal with the weird person.
Okay. We shall resolve the Zeke situation in a moment. Timi, Lamb, how are you going to resolve this issue?
Well, I must apologise. I thought that you were in trouble.
Right, you know Morgan, right?
Yeah.
How do you know Morgan?
Well, she's my superior.
Right, well, you look a bit long in the tooth for mud diving. So, what have you been up to? Why are you still doing that then?
Well, I'm just quite good at it, I suppose.
Right then, I see. And Timmy's going to show her tattoo from the ship and go, right, I need to find my shipmates, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the ship's gone missing.
Wasn't it on your collarbone?
Is it my collarbone?
Most people it's on their shoulder blade, but I seem to remember you had it somewhere else.
What was I doing with that then? Oh, that's right. My ship has gone missing. And the crew, they've gone missing too. And I need you to take us through the gates, right?
Yeah.
We need to speak to Morgan. We've got something that she wants. All right, so you just get them gates open for us, okay?
Yeah. No, that's fine. I was here to help you anyway. So
Well, you can help by picking him up and helping us get some medical attention. All right?
yeah. Okay, but don't ask me to do any medic because that might go a bit wrong.
I think you've done enough, haven't you?
Right. In the while that these two salties are blathering on in God knows what, you may manage to make out the vague form of the word cockwomble. Yeah, you crouch down to tend to Zeke, who quite clearly has a quite badly mangled right shoulder. This big heavy club appears to be exactly that. So yeah, give me a medic just to determine what's wrong with it. Not to treat it, just to work out what you need to do to treat it.
It's a non-natural 12.
Okay, you're absolutely sure that his collarbone is broken. There might be something else wrong with the structure of his shoulder. It doesn't seem to be the right shape anymore. And his arm sort of hangs limply from it. Yeah, that's pretty much all you can tell at this point. As you feel the shoulder, it's hard to tell through the armour, but you can tell that like the ball of the shoulder isn't sitting right, and you can feel that it's sort of flopping in a bit more easily than it should if the collarbone was securing it.
She's going to try and strap it in a sling so it's not flipping about and is supported. So that it doesn't get any worse.
Yeah. Well, he previously lent him a bandage and he was wearing a belt in a silly and inadvisable way, so there's plenty of things to strap it with.
She uses everything she can.
Fair enough.
She'll probably actually use the belt.
Yeah. That
Because
makes
that's
sense.
a bit more solid. Use that to strap his arm up across his chest.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you secure his arm. He's not regaining any hit points yet, but he's not getting any worse for the moment. Yeah. So give me an endurance physical. With all this messing about and
Endurance physical. 10.
yeah, that's all right. Yeah, you know the careful touch of your group's gifted, sometimes medic doesn't appear to have aggravated anything too much. You're still unconscious, but through the haze of unconsciousness, there's no blistering, agonising pain. So congratulations. You, I assume, are carrying him into the enclave? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, attempt to carry him into the enclave. There are 3 of you, this won't be hard, but it might take a while if you fuck it up.
What are we using?
I would assume strength. You're dragging an adult man carrying a large rifle. And even if you take the rifle off of him, he's still an adult man. You're trying to drag through mud without putting too much strain on his shoulder.
7.
Oh, I assume that. Oh, that's the bad one.
And I'll add another botch to that.
Oh god. Okay.
Right, I'm burning a. Oh no, have you got a legendary point left?
I have got 1.
Okay, that's all right then. I'm going to burn a legendary point.
Okay.
Hey.
Hey.
14.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah. You managed to hoist him up. You dump him in the cart of mangled melons. And the poor bloke who was standing there is just like you'll be paying me for them. Fair enough. Better than dropping him in the mud. To be fair, pretty much all the produce is already ruined due to the other Burke climbing through the damn thing. You might be able to scoop it up with ladles and boil it for soup, but who wants a melon soup? I can't imagine why anyone would do that. Originally I was going to say marrow, which would have made more sense, but hey, So yeah, you chuck him in this cart and you manage to sort of wheel him over to the entrance because, let's face it, from what you rolled, there was no way you were going to carry him. You failed abysmally at carrying him. Lamb grabbed his arm, went oh shit, and dropped him. Shouldn't grab his right arm. That seems like a bad idea. Anita was picking him up with the left arm and then hit Lamb away. What are you doing? And apparently Timi just dragged him by the legs over to the Mallory cart. Head dragging in the mud.
No worse than what Timi got.
No. So yeah, you load him in this cart and you take him over. If any of you have any money, you might want to pay this enraged merchant before he decides to take it out in your hide. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to throw the merchant attack.
No. Wonderful. That's not going to cover even a fraction of it, but great.
With such clear determination that that's going to be enough.
Okay. I read off that you're intimidating this man.
I am absolutely.
You're throwing this man some money and going, that's enough, right?
Yes. That's exactly what I'm doing. And I'm going to crit.
Okay, yeah, you... Jesus God. Yeah, you throw him a single tack. You pull your busted weapon out of your the sling bag you've been carrying this whole time. You hold up your rather more menacing looking nail gun for the fact that it's kind of broken. It's got bits hanging out of it. You just go. You say something to the tune of, "That'll be enough, right?" He's like, "Oh fucking hell! No reason to get bloody Salties. No, fuck this." And he grumbles his way off across the marketplace. You know, you get the feeling that he's going to raise this with someone at some point, but he's not going to mention it to you when you're waving a gun in his face. You know, so I want that cart back. We're done with it. Bastards. But yeah, he's moving to a safe distance at the very least. He is most notably not helping you move the heavy cart. But yeah, you managed to wheel old Zeke over to the gate. It's closed. It's resolutely closed.
Right, come on, Lamb, do your thing.
Yes, Lamb. Can you remember the name of the man who got to open the gate?
No.
It was only like 10 minutes ago.
James?
So close. It was Jameson.
Oh.
But yeah, you shout out like, James, open the door, and he goes, it's fucking Jameson, you knob. Opens the door. You've managed to knock out an ally and irritate the door guard. Congratulations. And possibly make some kind of life enemy with a merchant. Wonderful.
Well, good for one session, really.
Yeah, well, it's been less than half an hour. But yeah, you wheel Zeke inside, and I assume James closes the gate because he doesn't want to keep it open. That's his job, to close the gate and keep it closed.
I'll say thanks, James.
I just don't like that man. Says Jameson's son. His son, who helps him. Yeah, you now have Zeke inside the walls. He's now in the little entrance market. You know, surrounded by people selling like glowjars and bags of composted human feces and other such wonders of the deep. What are you gonna do?
So, will we remember how to get over to where Morgan
Yes.
resides?
Yes. I seem to recall. Morgan resides in like one of the only multi-story structures here, which is, as I seem to recall, a beached boat.
Oh yeah. So, before we go back to Morgan, I would suggest to the others that we have a chat with some of the other Salties before we get ejected, to find out why Roger was a head rather than just the ear he currently is. Because their enclave is close to Madame Nietzsche's, isn't it?
No.
Is it not?
Their enclave is almost
Pretty rough.
as close as you can get to the opposite side of town.
Right. But we
They are
also
right
found
down by
out-
the sea, and Madame Nooch's knocking ship is in an inland channel off of the river.
Okay. So we found out here that that's where Timi's boat is, but without a crew.
Yeah.
So do you... should we try and find out if we know where they are?
Well, you only found out they were missing because people here said they didn't know where they
Yeah.
were.
Okay.
The young boy and girl and their grandfather and mother and father, who you started a family feud with, told you that the Beer and Beaches crew had gone missing. And the ship itself, I seem to recall, had a large hole in it when it was recovered.
Okay. So potentially we need to go and see Morgan first then.
Well, potentially, you want to make sure Zeke doesn't die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know she's going to
Morgan may
start
well.
looking at Zeke to try and actually fix him a bit more.
Well, where do your priorities lie? I mean, I know that Lamb's priorities probably lie with, taking Timi to go and see Morgan. It just depends, really. And this is, one of those key moments that will define the tone of a campaign. How much do we like Zeke?
But surely Morgan will have access access to people who might be able to stitch him up?
Oh yeah, but he's just been like brutally cudgeled unconscious. You know for a fact he has at least 2 broken bones.
Anita will always try and help someone who is injured.
Yeah, but you normally do that by giving them painkillers.
Yeah, but she is actually quite a good medic
Yeah.
in her own way.
Okay. So we're going to play into the idea that Anita doesn't know her limits. Okay, go for it.
And if Timi was helping, could she argue a repair if she was just focusing on the bones?
No. No. The bones are not visible, nor are they like readily available for manipulation. Also, you can't weld them. Or use a nail gun. Okay, you're going to use a legendary point on a medic, I assume?
Yes.
Are you preloading this legendary point, or are you re-rolling it because you just fucked up?
I'm re-rolling because I just botched.
Ah, fuck.
That is 17.
17. You are pretty sure that you've managed to adequately reset the collarbone. And you're not entirely sure which order you should be doing this in, but you're fairly sure you could relocate his arm. You're not sure if you should be doing that while he has a broken collarbone. Just in terms of like layout and internal damage. But while you're doing this, you discover that there's at least like you discover that his shoulder blade is no longer the correct shape. There's definitely some larger internal issues with a chunk of shoulder blade being missing. But you can, without cutting into him, you've pretty much done everything you can. And for the sake of argument, I will say, Zeke, you have regained your endurance bonus in HP.
Okay.
I believe puts you at feck all.
Endurance bonus is 3. So is minus HP a thing, or
Yeah.
did I just hit 0?
If my HP is more or less a thing.
Then I'm at 0.
Yeah. Yes, you no longer look like you're getting any worse. You're not conscious. You're severely injured. But hey, at least you can be. At least it's quiet and restful. If horrible and dangerous and painful. So yeah, you're pretty sure, without the intervention of an actual doctor, or even better, a surgeon, Zeke's recovery at this point is basically probably almost maybe certain. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think the best thing to do is for us to go and see Thingy.
The Catman.
Morgan.
Yes, I thought you would say that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, but just disappeared from my head for some reason.
Yes.
But
so the real question is, do you drag Timi off to go and see Morgan because that's what your literal orders were? Or do you stick around while they tend to their friend and bring them all... Oh. Well, no, you pretty much still have to just bring Timi. Because I assume Anita probably wouldn't leave an unconscious patient. Unless she's finally worked out she's got some stim.
If Timi happens to have some stim...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Timi does have some stim. She isn't going to risk giving that to Zeke herself, so she's going to hand it to Anita and say, I don't know what this is. Do you think this will help?
Anita's going to take it and go, I'm not going to make things worse. After having a look at it.
Yeah, you can give it you've just been handed an unidentified syringe. It's almost a familiar shape. Do you want to try and identify it?
Yes, let's try and identify it.
Okay. Do you want to do that with a knowledge?
Yeah, let's do that with a knowledge.
This might be an unfamiliar format of stim.
It's a 10.
A 10. From like the length of the needle on this syringe, and like the colour and apparent viscosity of the liquid inside, you're fairly sure this is stim.
Yeah.
Reasonably. I mean, it might be a cocktail, but you've just said you're using it, so yeah, you essentially bam this like super powered EpiPen into what muscle mass? Where are we going?
Upper thigh.
Upper thigh.
Upper thigh, yeah.
The most humiliating place to have your life saved, with the possible exception of the lower buttock. Zeke, you awaken. It hurts. Everything hurts. Oh my god, the pain, the pain. You cannot feel your right hand. You cannot move your right arm. And your right shoulder appears to be made of fire. Your arm is currently strapped across your chest. And you realize that you cannot make your fingers wiggle. Try as you might. But you are awake.
Hooray.
And you have a single hit point.
It possibly wasn't that the mercy was cracked up to be bringing Zeke back to consciousness.
No. No. It's more a matter of, brutal battlefield practicalities. But applied in an entirely peaceful situation, just to make you endure more pain. Oh yeah, and you've got a lovely level of suffering to apply to all your rolls. We won't worry about the damage.
It's a 2.
Because you've just been brought back from the verge of death again. So, there we are. More suffering for you. Is that 2 levels of suffering now?
That is indeed.
Excellent. One more and you'll just pass out irrecoverably. Wonderful. So yes, you are groggy, you are racked with pain, and your primary weapon is now unusable because you only have one hand. At least available. It's still there, you can see it. But you're awake! Huzzah!
Well,
I always think from a thematic point of view, this would be, as much as just, it pains me to say, like a physical endurance to carry on in this pain.
You could do it if you want.
Mostly because for all the scrapes and cuts and bruises Zeke has endured, a shattered shoulder and collarbone is not something he's ever truly experienced.
No.
Oh, it's okay. That is a 14.
Yeah. You managed to grit your teeth and bear it, but, you are looking for painkillers. Whereas before, your road awareness was tuned to stealthy people moving in the shadows, now it is tuned towards people who look spaced out on painkillers. The sort of people you can bug for painkillers.
Does anyone mind explaining to me just what's gone down?
Oh, bit of mistaken identity, I'm afraid.
You notice that the man who just told you this is holding a large, heavy club that appears to have some blood on it. You also realise that your right shoulder has some blood on it.
This idiot decided to take a flying leap at you with his cudgel.
Oh, I thought you were a guard, you see, and I had come to collect Timi, and I thought you two...
Timi would really salute while being held by 2 guards.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Obvious.
Yeah, I'm always being told I'm not the brightest by Morgan, actually, but...
Currently, how far are we away from a hole in the pier?
Oh, God. We'll say for the sake of argument that it's currently low tide, and there are small holes in the pier almost everywhere. Because you're currently in the marina section of the enclave, which means that there's probably only sort of an 8-foot drop into horrible salty mud. Probably no more than sort of 10 or 15 feet.
If the tide is out and Zeke would be able to see that, then were this some kind of game, there would be a message saying Zeke will remember this in the top left-hand corner. Mistaken identity, was it? I see.
You are aware that you are still wearing the bloodied and slightly battered remains of your gigantic blue coat. A case of mistaken identity while wearing a disguise. Whether this has occurred to you or not, it's occurred to everyone else hearing this.
So, Zeke, we're going to get you some help, but we need to talk to Morgan. Because she might be able to get like a surgeon or something to maybe fix you up a bit more and get your hand usable.
Oh, I'm sure she will.
At this point, as you've been standing around, attempting to perform rudimentary medical operations on a busted up fella in the back of a melon cart, Jameson's going to come down and be like, "What the bloody hell are you doing?" Lamb, why have you bought these 2 blue coats in?
They're not. I thought that at first, and it was a bit funny, but yeah.
I doubt it. Timi, what's with the blue coats?
Right, so we were trying to get across the field. Yes, we were in the coats, and I was pretending to be a prisoner so we could get across without getting shot. Okay, so we were coming back to see Morgan. But this idiot here over here, he comes up and he jumps off some block or something, and he cudgels my poor friend's death. Although he was only unconscious, but look at his arm.
His arm is right nice.
It is. We've used our stem. We've got no stem left now. We need to see Morgan. And hopefully your friend here ain't gonna club anyone else to death.
I wouldn't lay money on that.
Hey, what's wrong with him then?
He's one of them mud divers.
You see, he looks a bit funny in the head to me.
Yeah, one of them ones that we have. We'll let him go on land. Off you go. That's okay.
Not on my ship.
Yeah, he's a few planks short of a raft.
You see, look like you need a bigger ship here. Anyway, do you both put us in the direction of Morgan? I've got some information for her.
Short memory. He just points to the tug that's sitting on the side in a marina. Most of it's just built out like pontoons with huts and shit on it. This is a boat, a big ass fucking boat that's just been run up onto the mud.
Right enough. Right, you are then. And Timmy's gonna toddle off in that direction.
I'll follow.
Wait, what? As you said.
Coat off and then help Zeke
Okay.
get out of the melon cart and take you on.
Yeah. As 2 of you turn to go, and Anita thinks to maybe help the horribly injured man, Jameson turns to Jameson's son and help the man, son. He's a bit busted up. One of our lot did it. Better go and make sure he gets fixed, yeah? This lad, who's probably no more than 14, comes along and he's got a little hammer hanging, a little claw hammer hanging off of a belt, and he's got a little pack full of nails and things. He's there to also reinforce the gate. he rips 2 planks off the side of the melon cart and like makes them into a sort of a rudimentary cruciform and hands it to you as a very rudimentary crutch. So you can sort of lean the front of your elbow into the thing and hold the front of it and sort of hobble along a bit. Because he doesn't know what the fuck you need. He's 14. He just knows you're hurt. In actual fact, this crutch might be more useful for Timi, who got shot through the thigh yesterday. He's been hobbling around ever since. But hey. He walks along next to you, like waiting for you to fall over or struggle to walk, because that's the kind of injuries he understands. He does so in the very useful way of a young teenager by like holding your elbow and putting a hand on your lower back, which actually hurts. But hey, he's trying. Poor Jameson's son.
You're doing a good job there, lad, but why don't you get back to your gate? I'm sure your dad will be wanting you back soon.
Dad said I'd come with you. Make sure you're okay. Can't have mudsiders, dying in the enclave. Now dawns on he's not here for you. Can't have mudsiders dying in the enclave. It's bad for business.
So it is, lad. So it is. And Zeke will do his best to sort of straighten and stride on.
That's probably not going to be pleasant, but all right. And yeah, Jameson's son is like hobbling along behind you. He's carrying a heavy fucking hammer against one thigh. He's not going very quick. But yeah, he's trying his best to stay near you. In case you like keel over all of a sudden. Yeah. So yeah, you come up close to Morgan's little boat. I'm not sure if we ever gave it a name, but hey, it's a little tugboat. And you notice that there is actually a small gap between all the pontoons. Almost symbolically, it looks like this ship, this little boat, if there was enough water, it could float back away. But more realistically, it's actually surrounded by, many, many meters of pontoons. And it wouldn't actually fit through the symbolic gap they've left. But you have to hop onto it. Which in the condition that all of you, apart from Lamb, are in, is probably not great. You're tired, you're wounded. Frankly, a little pissed off. Probably more than a little in Zeke's case. Just got cudgelled to unconsciousness and had multiple bones broken by someone who is notionally a friend. Who he now can't take vengeance on.
Can't is a very strong word.
I said notionally. He notionally can't take vengeance on.
Upon reaching this gap, how big of a gap would you say this was?
It's only a matter of a few feet. It's just uncomfortable to step over, sort of thing.
Could I realistically take the makeshift crutch that this lad has crafted for me and just sort of drop it as a bit of a gangplank?
It would be really bloody hard to manoeuvre a gangplank one-handed. But it might just have enough length. You're not entirely sure if you trust standing on it. But it bridges the gap. Roughly. It hasn't fallen. So yes, you have a rudimentary gangplank.
And then it's going to go on, Egypt. I don't want you behind me.
Not to Jamesonson.
No, to Lamb.
Okay. Yeah, the fella you cudgeled to unconsciousness seems to be taking it really well. He just provided a gangplank. That's a gesture of respect among Salties that normally only sort of first year squabbies do that for deckhands. And mud divers, well, no one does favours for them.
Ah, this is marvellous. Little plank you got here. Me get into the boat and all. Sure, Morgan will help you as long as I can get across this plank.
Okay. Are you going to walk across the plank?
Yeah, why not?
It breaks! The plank breaks. You step on it and you step on it with one foot, and then the second step basically takes you onto Morgan's boat.
Mm-hmm.
And just as you're stepping off of it, it snaps.
Okay.
So you kind of bark your shin on the on the raised railing of the boat. You land inside the boat. That's fine. But Jesus, it gets you just under the knee. Oh, it's a rope bastard. And subsequently, obviously, there's no gangplank for anyone else. Maybe you shouldn't send the towering bloke with a big heavy stick across first. Oh. But yeah, you've got a nasty little bruise on the shin coming.
Ouch.
So
yeah.
Attempt to scramble over his back as best she can.
Yeah. Fair enough. You can all hop across. It's not really a problem. It's just a feature.
She's going to grumble all the time she has to do it.
Bloody Salties. Just build a fucking bridge.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So yeah, Anita is on the tug. I assume Zeke just steps across.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I imagine Timi just does the practiced little hop of someone who's stepping from a jetty to something that may bob away on a moving sea.
Yeah, she's
the thing she's done 10,000 times before. Yeah. So yeah, you're all there, and there's the little door into the sort of a internal cabin. Pretty much all of the internal space of this boat above what would normally be the water line is just Morgan's cabin. As you plunge back in there, you reacquaint yourself with those details that I said in that previous episode, but didn't reacquaint myself with. So you're astounded that the decor has changed as you walk into the dimly lit room that's lit with lanterns and filled with treasures of a life well spent, salvaging. And there's old nautical maps sort of plastered around, and there's a globe, and there's a big old fashioned anchor on the wall, and many empty bottles of rum in a sort of display on the wall. And in front of you is the large desk that you were acquainted with the rather ornate box that she put Roger's head in. And behind it, once again, stands Morgan, and she looks a little surprised to see you. And as you stump in and your eyes adjust to the light and you see Morgan, you're warmly met with, "What the fuck did you do? What do you think you do? We could see the flames from here."
Well, you said you wanted him alive or dead.
I said alive, limbs optional.
Okay. Well, I've got a sort of limb. It's a bit of a limb.
Oh,
And
God,
she's going to
cut
hand
his
over
cock
the
off, did you?
finger. No, she's going to hand over his finger.
Oh God, jeez.
Okay,
What are we going to do with this?
Well, you've got something now of to bargain with. But it's also, look, I got his rings. These are those special rings he always had on his fingers that he wouldn't take them off, so I had to liberate them.
Fat bastard like that, he probably couldn't take him off.
Well, he certainly couldn't run for him.
Oh, God. At least tell me he's alive.
Well, I haven't seen him dead.
We're not going to Moriarty this shit. Okay. So, I asked you for a hostage so we could solve the disappearances. You bought me a head and a finger.
Right. Well, eventually you're going to get a whole body, aren't you? So...
So do you want our help or not?
Yes, but, I could do with having a hostage that we could actually get to you rather than ones that's stuck on a bed at the top of a building. I tried to get him to follow me, but then when I stabbed him in the leg, he couldn't feel it.
At which point she takes a measured step back from her desk, at which point you see that her right leg is in a rather large and ornate brace, and she takes another step and leans on a chair that seems to be bolted to the floor, and she swings the leg up onto the table, pulls out a rather large and impressive knife, and she just thwacks it into the foot. He goes, "Didn't feel that? You gonna leave me behind?"
No, but you can at least move.
That's a matter of effort.
Right, but look at the size of him, or rather look at what was the size of him? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know the fucking size of him. You only bought me a finger.
Well, you can see from the finger. He lived a plentiful life, shall we say, and he shot some poor bloke through the back of the head. We couldn't even open the door to save him. Didn't even have any clothes, poor lad.
Well, I mean, that's all very interesting, but we haven't got a hostage. We haven't got a source of information.
You see, you're wrong there, because we have a young lad over in the market who I said if I taught him to write, he'd send some messages for us. His name's Herb. Young lad.
Okay.
What's his dad's name? Oh, Mart begins with an M. Maybe. Can't remember. Not my notes.
Oh, you made notes.
I have. Hold on a minute. I hired him for attack. And his mum or his sister, we weren't quite sure. They work at Jasmine. Maybe Rachel's even. Her name's Jasmine. Herb's dad. He makes engines. He makes engines for Al, and his name is Martin. Martin. That's right. No, it's not right. My notes
Let's say
wrong.
it is. Why not?
Martin sends messages to Al.
Yeah, to be fair, it's not the first thing you've got wrong, so.
I don't know anymore.
So much drinking and violence in between. So
we did get a message.
So what you're telling me is we've got no hostage. You've not done what we asked. But it's okay, because you talked to a child.
We hired them. We bought the child.
Oh, it's okay because you've got a slave.
Yes.
Well, I don't know what you think you might... I mean, Tim, you should know better than this. I don't know what these lot think they've heard about us Salties, but we don't deal with slaves.
Is it a slave? If they...
You bought him.
But I am teaching him to write his name, and think of me as like a school teacher with benefits. Well, that doesn't sound right.
I
Don't think of me like that.
there's a different word for that.
I am trading, learning.
Jamesonson, I think you should leave. The adults are talking, and apparently they're saying terrifying things. And Jamesonson, whose face by this point has gone white at the mention of children being enslaved, only barely a kilometre from where he lives. His face is white. He's shaking a little. He looks a little angry. But yeah, he leaves. He doesn't want to learn anything else about the horrors that lay at Mudside.
But we can get you a message to Al.
Well, that's great, but I can talk to Al anytime I want. The point was that we had a hostage to use against him.
Right.
An important hostage that he wouldn't kill. Rather than, say, acquiesce to my demands.
I see.
The sort of hostage we could use as insurance. For when we let you get into the passage up to the fort. The one that we know about, and they know we know about.
Yeah.
So, what you're telling me is that we asked a simple errand, and you failed. And you got shot, and you got cudgeled, and you got drunk, and you set fire to things.
Oh, we set fire to things, yes. But the fire was to cover up the murder.
Okay. So, what are you going to do instead?
I don't really know. Probably not bludgeon my friends to death, eh, Lamb?
Yeah.
Lamb. Really?
Now who's the cockwomble?
Still your lamb.
Was a bit of mistaken identity.
You mistook this one for a blue coat.
Mm-hmm. He was, wearing a blue coat.
He has got a point. He was wearing a blue coat. But we were trying to get over here without getting shot.
But this one's wearing a blue coat. I see. She's got one.
Couldn't it both of them?
So where's your excuse? You cudgeled a friend for wearing a wrong colour coat, but you didn't hit the other one.
Well, I'd found out my...
So either you're inept,
No.
or you're negligent.
I found the error of my ways before hitting the other one. He had a gun, so I thought best to hit him first.
Right.
So
Yeah.
How about Lamb? You wait outside. I'll decide what to do with you later.
If I might be so bold, my honourable captain, I've got some plans at high tide, if you will.
Which are?
It just involves a few feet of rope and maybe tossing them in.
Our Lamb?
Dick then gestures to his arm like this.
Yeah.
Considering I've lost the use of this, seems about fair by Northern standards.
We'll think on it.
Lamb's gonna continue to look embarrassed and like upset about the whole thing and sort of skulk out of the door, forget that the plank's not there and fall straight down.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You fall 8 feet. Well, actually, yeah, you'd probably be a little further higher. You fall 9 feet into the horrible toxic sludge that sits underneath underneath these pilings. Everyone roll a d4.
Including me?
Yeah, why not?
4.
4.
2.
2.
2 2s, 2 4s.
That was 3 2s. 2 4s, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Didn't realise you were rolling as well.
Oh yeah, everyone. So yeah, you take, what was that, 12?
14.
14? Ooh, lovely. How
Is
much
that-
health does Lamb have?
15?
Excellent. You're not dead. You are,
Do I have
however,
any...
like,
Is that minus physical endurance?
yeah, that's minus all the normal stuff.
Okay.
You've
that's
just
all right.
landed in highly radioactive, incredibly polluted, like mud, full of broken glass and detritus and rusty metal. You know, with years, possibly decades, of discarded feces on top, and like diesel, like diesel particulate.
Mhm.
Excellent. You're just soaked in all manner of human filth. You lay there, basically, just like broken.
I'm just
and
going to
bleeding.
say bugger.
Yeah. At this point, Jamesonson, who was only a few sort of hadn't got very far, like, runs back and like throws a rope down.
Mhm.
Coming up, sir.
I climb out and continue looking embarrassed and upset
Yeah.
and just sit there and have a sulk for a while.
Oh, yeah. You also smell awful. You're sitting there in a bleeding, slowly fizzing mess.
Hmm.
It could have been worse. If you hadn't been wearing your oilskins, you would probably be dead. You were actively immersed in river mud in probably the most polluted stretch of the river. But yeah. Congratulations, you nearly killed yourself. Whew. How quickly I really didn't rebalance that for 5 people rolling d4s. But yeah. So yes, those of you inside, you hear Lamb grumbling on his way out, and then you hear like, whoa, ow, and yeah, you hear Jameson running over and shouting. But yeah, in the meantime, it's like, so what are we gonna do? You know, you've not secured us insurance. You've not, you know, we want to help, but we need to know that we'll be safe.
Wait, so I guess we ought to think of Plan B then.
Well, yeah.
I suppose.
So sorry to interrupt again, but planning goes a downside smoother when one isn't in constant pain with this. And he gestures to his shoulder again with his left hand.
Okay. God, he likes to talk about his arm, doesn't he?
Not very tough, are they?
Yeah. She pulls the knife out of her foot. And just like funks it into the top of her desk. Like, the foot bleeds a little, but it's quite black. Right. There's not a lot of blood flow there. And then she, flops it back down on and, slips it back into her boot and just ignores it. And she stumbles back, sort of obviously her leg's in a brace. It's not the most dexterous of things when you're trying to get it back onto the floor. And she opens one of the drawers of her desk and she pulls out what looks like one of those large, flat, bottles of whiskey. The ones that people hide in inside pockets. A glass one, not a hip flask. It's nothing that classy. And it just has written on it healing juice. Exactly how it sounds. Heal is in the part of the foot, and juice spelt Jooc. Juice. And she hands it to you and she's like, slug of that. See you right.
Anita eyes the bottle a bit suspiciously. Can I have a quick look at that first?
Zeke, having no issue with Salt Captain Morgan, will do as has been advised.
Yeah. The bottle isn't entirely full. You get the feeling this is something she uses. Yeah, you're going to slug back a hearty slug of healing juice, or are you going to attempt to drain the bottle, or? And she's given no directions for use.
Half of the measure that's left.
Fuck. Okay. she's given you a bottle the size of a man's hand, basically. It's about half full.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Fair enough. So yeah, basically you go, oh, okay, and upend this bottle. Right, you wait for 3 bubbles, 3 hearty glugs before lowering it, in the traditional manner of someone drinking something whiskey directly out of a small bottle. And my God, it burns. It manages to be salty and sweet at the same time. Like salted caramel, but infinitely worse. And if you know how much I hate salted caramel, you'll appreciate that statement. It manages to be sort of smooth and yet lumpy. Its effect on the throat is somewhere sort of in the happy medium between a hot chili and a painfully cold ice cube. And afterwards you feel alright. The pain, flees down to the quiet corners of your mind under a great big blanket of just sort of buzzing numbness. You feel alright. Now, just for the sake of pure fun, everyone else other than I roll a d4. I won't do this one. That would just be too ridiculous.
3.
3.
3, 3, and 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You have regained 8 HP.
Okay, so that takes me to a hearty 9.
But you are under the impression you are completely fine.
Can Anita intercept the bottle and try and sort of give it a good sniff and a quick taste, see if you can work out what the hell it is?
If you can wrestle it out of this gurning fool's hand, you just don't
Wouldn't that be an opposed grapple?
No, he's not. He's just sort of locked in a rictus of joy at the moment. He's not exactly resisting anything. His mind is far away. His mind has ridden like the flow of this potent liquor down his bloodstream to all the dark places where the pain is hiding. You just have to pull it from his hand.
Yeah, she'll do that.
Yeah.
She'll wander over to him and go, yeah, let me have a look at that.
Yeah. You give it a hefty old sniff then. Yeah, it smells a little bit like if someone had mixed Pernod with TCP. It's a powerful smell of healing pharmaceutical nonsense, mild toxicology, and a drink that most people wouldn't choose to have.
Yeah, she recognises that smell.
Yeah. The ultimate effect seems to be favourable. You're not sure what it is because he's way too wasted to tell you.
She's going to look across at Captain Morgan and see if she has permission to give it have a quick sip.
Yeah. She doesn't seem to mind. She's giving this thing away. I guess also, is it you've lost a level of suffering?
Yes. Yeah, but down
You
to
feel great.
and I think in this stupor you'll see Zeke just slump down a little bit in one of the corners.
Yeah.
In the fashion of a drunk who just leans against the wall for support and then finds himself sat at the bottom.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
And he just takes a quick sip.
Yeah, you take a quick sip. Yeah. It hits your throat like something simultaneously icy cold and very spicy. It tastes terrible. You have a headache.
Nothing new there.
You kind of like not like a painful one. One of those like horrible fuzzy headaches.
Oh yeah.
You know, the ones where you just can't concentrate on anything.
Yep.
Yeah. Things don't hurt. It's all right. Yeah. You regain 3 HP. There is almost nothing in this bottle now.
10 at 17.
Yeah. Yes. You see your associates slugging down this healing juice. Warm idiot smiles spreading across their faces, even if sort of slightly subdued. Do you want to have a bash on the healing juice? And Morgan's like, sure, share it around, see if I give a fuck.
I think Timmy's been around healing juice enough to know that it messes with your general faculties.
Yeah, I mean, healing juice isn't common among this. Like, it's kind of the stuff that it's kind of the stuff that swabbies aspire to. Healing juice is really only given to important people, or people at important times. It's hard to make. It's made from ingredients that can only be grown out on the oil rigs, combined with things from the highest hills of northern Britain. In layman's terms, it's recently made Scotch whiskey mixed with witch hazel and kelp. But it works. It's just a bastard to get the stuff to make it.
Okay, in which yeah.
You know it dulls people down, but also you were shot yesterday.
I was shot yesterday. In which case, I think Timmy's going to take a small sip.
Excellent. Yeah, there's pretty much just a small sip left. Zeke had a good deal more than he wished, but it's doing him doing him good in the long run. So yeah, you basically finish what little is left in this bottle.
Okay.
It's one of those drinks where it's just thick enough that you tip it back and you go, where is it? And then it rushes down your throat. So you always get a little more than you wish you when you tried to get, sort of thing. Kind of like if you try to neck cough syrup because you can't find the spoon. But yeah, I've ever done that. But so yeah, you finish off this bottle, and yeah, Your thigh no longer hurts. Your toes no longer hurt. You weren't aware that your feet hurt, but you're aware they no longer hurt. You know, all those little niggling aches and pains that you just learn to accept as part of life, you know, fade away. You know, the tinnitus that constantly buzzes in your head, like, no, dulls. It's like a comfortable background hum. You feel good. You feel really good. You feel fucking great. And then you move, you shuffle a bit to sort of keep your balance, and you step on the bad leg, the left leg, and just for a moment there's a little ooh, and you realise that it's an illusion. Like, you feel alright, but it isn't better. But yeah, for the same sake, you gain 4 HP. Ah. Yeah, now you're all standing there, sort of drunk and happy, and well sedated. You know, is anyone leaning on the front of the desk now? Yeah, okay. You can see over the desk that Morgan closes the drawer that she brought the healing juice out of, but now she realises she's not getting the bottle back. And you see it's got 3 other bottles of healing juice in it. Now, clearly she uses a fair bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Presumably for whatever's doing that to her leg. But yeah, she's like, well, you're welcome to stay here for a bit, but we're gonna have to put you to use.
Right. What are you thinking then?
Well, we need to know what happened to that crew, and looks like you're not gonna find out in town. So you're gonna have to find out in the fort, aren't you?
Alright.
So it looks like we're not gonna have any insurance.
What are you saying then? We go in the fort and...
I'm saying you find our missing people. And if you can't, I'm saying you better, I believe the Mudsider term is burn the fucker down.
You've got farm there.
That you have.
Are you reckon we can do that?
So, oh, if you talk to quick, someone think of an alcoholic, a brand of whiskey or rum. If you talk to fuck it, O'Neill. If you talk to O'Neill over at over in the Bottle and Bride, he'll give you some stuff, but don't get caught alive.
Right, okay. No, I think we can manage that. So...
You bring our folk home. We'll forget about all this. Maybe, just maybe. You know, we can send some people ashore, take the fort, and we'll run Ooze Town from now on. I think I could be the first mud captain. I could see that.
You reckon there's not much difference between land and sea? Not when there's people concerned.
You stick enough guns in a bit of mud, and sea will disagree with you. And you tell them it's part of the sea.
Anita, having finally deciphered what they're talking about, through the accent and the language,
Oh, they're trying. Morgan is trying her best to speak understandably.
yeah, Anita's taking a little bit of time to
Process.
the process, and
Yeah.
possibly the beer that she was drinking
Yeah.
only a little bit earlier,
But yeah.
if my timeline's right, or the night before. It's going to say, if we need to storm the fort, we kind of need to heal up, Us
So you
sniper
can.
guy's got no shoulder at the moment.
Yeah.
I've patched him up as best I can.
Yeah. Well, as I say, we can find a place for you, but we need to know you can do what we need done.
Well, you want the place burned. Apparently we're quite good at that.
Well, we need you to bring back our folk, but if we can't have it coming back on us. We need to find our folk and do it quiet or do it deadly.
Anita's going to look at Timi and go, yeah, we've got deadly covered.
All right. So I say, go and talk to O'Neill, the Botland Bride, and he'll sort you out a place to be, and some folk to make sure you're all right. And when you get back, we'll see about the fort. Sound right?
Yeah, sounds pretty good. Yeah.
Reckon we got a deal there.
All right. Well, you better go and find Lamb. You could be your new shipmate. Yeah, find Lamb. Get him to take you off to see O'Neill.
Right then, he knows where O'Neill is.
Fucking hope so.
We don't know. He was crawling across melons earlier.
Well, yeah, he's not smart, but he's experienced. He knows where he's going. He's just not always effective.
I see.
But he's lived this long.
Is that more luck than judgment?
His luck, my judgment. For my sins.
I reckon we need to go get Zeke patched up then.
That you do.
think so.
Right. Off you go then.
Anita kind of looks at Susan in his just crumpled heap in the corner and it's like, we might need a little bit of help transporting him off your ship, because, yeah, I'm not the strongest person in the world. Well, I don't think he's going to be walking anytime soon.
Oh, alright. And she steps out from behind the desk. You once again see the very large leg brace on her right leg. You notice at this point she's also got one from the knee down on the left leg. And it appears to have pins in it into the leg. She after stepping up from behind the desk, she also picks up a crutch. And with the minimum of difficulty, you kind of get the impression that the crutch is an affectation at this point. It's a very nice looking crutch. Yeah. It appears to have like a number of knives built into the shaft as well. It's sort of got like a pulley attachment and a little bell on it and Christ knows what. You get the impression she just likes having it because it's easier than carrying a bag. And she walks to the door and she kicks it open. And she just slams the crutch down and the little bell on it rings. Give me a stretcher bearer in here! A dozy fucker got drunk. And within a few moments, a pair of burly young chaps come on in with a stretcher canvas between them, which they just sort of roll Zeke onto and pick it up. Kind of like that whole parachute thing they do with kids, where they like flop the big canvas down on them, but they pick him up on it. Kind of like fireman trampolines, the ones that they catch people when they jump off buildings. Yeah, and they carry Zeke off of the boat back onto dry land. And fuck it, they flop him in the melon cart. That yours, yeah?
It is now.
Yeah.
A little bit more gently, please.
Yeah.
His
Okay.
shoulders slightly busted. But thanks.
Okay. Alright, I've just actually noticed the time. Shit. Okay. So yeah. You reunite with Lamb and you head off to your new port of call at the Bottle and Bride to meet O'Neill. And we shall leave you there, pulling your handcart across a rough pontoon with lots of holes in it, pissed out of your tiny little minds,
Hooray!
feeling no pain, knowing no fear. Huzzah! And there we are. So yeah, that was that. That was my Exit Nukes. That was Rotten Under Ooze Town. We finally sort of managed to wrangle those plot threads into a new direction where you might actually achieve a goal. Maybe. We've managed to include a new character, or at least for the moment. Just have to hope you last longer than sort of a Mollymawk sort of situation, but hey. We'll have to get on with that. So yeah, I was thirsty, I was the world, and all of the varied people who you didn't talk to because you only had eyes for characters you already knew. And Jameson and Jamesonson. So yeah, I had fun hastily making up new Salties and trying to save you from your own crits and failures. Terrible, terrible failures that nearly killed people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I say, I was thirsty, I was the world. You can find me on Twitter if you want to. And I'll leave it at that. Because it'd be in the description. And that's enough about me. So, bonus guest Kerone, where can we find you? Did you enjoy things? Are you happy to be here even though it's not the game you wanted to play?
Oh, I'm always happy to play, and yes, I very much enjoyed it. And yeah, it probably showed that I was trying not to listen to much about what was happening before I turned up, so that I would be in the eyes of the character.
Method acting.
Yes.
Acting.
And apologies for
Critting and nearly
effects.
killing a main
Yeah.
character.
That would just sum up how things tend to go when I turn up.
Yes.
I think. But if it's not burning down something, then yeah, it's causing massive damage to an ally.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. But yeah, I very much enjoyed it, and yeah, we shall see how it goes next time. But yes, I am Kerone, and you can find me on Twitter at Kerone_BTP. You can also find information about Betrayed, which is my short film, at jqs.org.uk.
Sounds very official. Very impressive. I haven't got a short
thank
film.
you.
Maybe I should get a short film, damn it. I have no idea how to
You
start.
got Have you got a spare 10 grand?
No, I don't have a spare 10 minutes. But anyway, just to turn everything completely on its head, Lilth, you're not last.
Yay! I'm Lilth. I was playing Anita the Rotter, who actually managed to save someone with skills as opposed to drugs, which is kind of cool for her.
Well, you did use drugs.
Eventually.
Yeah. You stabilised someone and then saved them with drugs.
Yeah. It's an improvement. She's getting there.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Fair enough.
You can find me on Twitter at Lilth21. And you can also find me on a Saturday evening at 8 p.m. 9 p.m. EST, I think, on Kit Battlebeard's Twitch channel playing some D&D.
We could ask Kit, he's in chat.
I haven't got access to chat because I'm in deepest, darkest Wales avoiding all the slavers.
Ah. Kit,
Very,
when is it? Is it 8 or 9? Joy of interactive chat.
9 p.m. EST.
Yeah. Well, let's face it. People out there in the world, if you get ready at 8, it will still be happening at 9.
Yeah.
You know, get ready an hour before. Make sure you got your snacks in.
It also depends when our clocks change compared to when their clocks change as well.
Oh God, that's
3 to be over in the summer.
Yeah. In fact, to combat all the issues, just subscribe to Kit's channel and put notifications on.
Yeah, definitely do that.
Yes, massively promote a different channel while not even mentioning where ours is. So yes, next, and by no means second to last, is Eivor. Once again, not last.
Eivor, playing Zeke. Zeke will remember this.
Yes.
You can find me on Twitter at Eivor_DNABC. And otherwise in the nebulous north, plotting malicious deeds.
Okay, day. I have to keep an eye on you and your malicious deeds in the nebulous north. Yes. Don't trust those. There's malicious northerners in the nebulous deeds. I know that's switching things around, but it works better. Maybe, I don't know. Fuck it. Right. Spanners!
Oh, I am Spanners. Yeah, that was brilliant. I love playing Timi. Yeah, so you can find me on Spanners_BTP. You can find me here on Mondays. You can now go and download the Dark Dice podcast from iTunes, Podbean, other places. And you can also go and find me on Teach All About It, where my book is released this month.
Very impressive.
I know. Yeah. It's exciting stuff. You could also find me on exciting things on BBC Bite Size, but nobody wants to.
Yeah.
It's not as exciting.
Yeah. Yes.
But go and download Dark Dice.
Yeah. Well, yes. I'm sure we all will, won't we?
Absolutely.
Already have.
Yeah. To be fair, I haven't listened to it yet. I tend to be behind on podcasts. I have massive backlogs of podcasts, like 6 or 7 months worth. But hey, so yeah, that was Rotten Under Ooze Town. That was my lovely group of players. And if you joined us on Twitch, which apparently an uncommon number of people did, thank you, because you being here live means you can shout at us, even though only 2 people did. But hey, only 3 people. Sorry. Because chat's always great, and I actually started looking at it. So if you do start shouting us, going like, "Oi, dickhead! Like he didn't remember something," or "I love Timi. Timi's great," or "Why didn't you shoot Anita in the face? She was standing right there."
Next week.
Or 4,000 meters? That's a ridiculous length. Why didn't you say 100 like you meant to? You know, those things in chat, that would be handy. You could keep me in check. But yeah. And if you watch this on YouTube, it means that I remembered to do that, which is also good because I said that I'd put my stuff in the description, which otherwise means you don't know it. So yeah, we were doing this, and that was great, and you were great too. So goodbye, and thank you.
Laters.
Outro slide.
Ooh.
Oh Jesus.
Oh, I can't believe I did
You nearly
that.
killed Eivor.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
By accident. You genuinely didn't realise that you were
I generally didn't realise.
Oh, classic.
Oh,
Definitely put Zeke out of commission for a while.
Yeah.
hello, Roasty.
Yes. And more importantly than any of that, the new Assassin's Creed game comes out in 9 minutes,
Ooh.
Oh.
which I will be going into the lounge and playing.
Oh,
Uh.
wow, you have more stamina than I do.
I'm still hooked on Transport Fever.
I've only just picked up Origins and I haven't touched it yet because someone got me started on Final Fantasy.
Yes. But yes, you know, all good fun. You know, all good clean fun apart from, you know, getting soaked in toxic river mud and beating friends to death.
I think it was karma, to be honest. Self-inflicted karma.
What do you feel? I did actively describe how terrible that stuff was, and then you decided to step into it.
Well,
So
fall into
that's
it.
not karma. That's masochism.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
is just...
You decided to nearly kill yourself. That was a challenge, wasn't it?
It was.
You were challenging me to make you a new character before next week.
Nah,
Oh,
I can't kill lamb. It's fun.
I assure you can kill lamb.
I can.
I'm sure
yeah,
you could.
quite easily.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, thanks guys for playing.
Oh,
Because
you're welcome.
without all of you, there would be nowhere near this much chaos.
That was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.